We opened the conference on Wednesday, and I shared a session entitled Seeing Yourself as God Sees You, because the point of the conference was really to come and pour into these women the idea of their identity in Christ, because there's so many things pulling on us as women within the culture that tells us who we are. It's important for us to know who we are based on our position in Christ, and that allows us then to live that out. And then on Friday, I closed out the conference with a session entitled Walking in Your Identity, because what we understand is once we know who we are, then the actual work begins, the actual walking out begins. And one of the things that I wanted the women to understand is that when we left the conference, that we're going back to our lives where the reality is we still have challenges. The reality is we still have difficulties. The reality is there are relationships that are in trouble. There are children that are in trouble. There are financial challenges. There are job challenges. And so we want to make sure that when we leave, we know our identity, but we also know how to walk it out. And part of that has to do with listening to what God has to say to us.
She never walked with us the book of Esther. And the book of Esther is my favorite. And whatever she taught us made me to see the book of Esther differently. A woman who is a servant, who is serving God with courage and purpose. And that has given me a new perspective of being a servant leader. Catherine from the US, she really talked so much about knowing who you are, knowing your identity. A lot of times we just walk, we call ourselves Christians, but we don't walk the identity that it really requires. So we are really privileged and happy to be in this conference. It's a conference that has really impacted our spiritual life. And I feel like we've been capacity built in a way that we've never experienced before.
God really is able to do absolutely anything. That God really is all-powerful. That God really does know everything. That God really is everywhere. Those are things that we hear. We use those words, omnipotent, omnipresent. We use those big words, and so we know it at a head level. But I believe, and I want people to experience it, to experience the bigness of God. That's one of the things, truthfully, that brought me back to Kenya, because last year when I was here, that's what changed my life, because I experienced God in such a big way that I didn't even know was possible. And so that, I think, is what I want people to know, that God really is who He says He is. It's not just things we say at church on Sunday. It's not just this book that we happen to read that has some nice stories in it, but it is true. It is real, and God is real, and He can do absolutely anything but fail.